to the agency in performing its mission. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Any questions for Mr. Williams regarding his report? No. Thank you. Item number 11, identifying emerging issues to be addressed by the board executive director at future meetings. Receive updates on the activities of the executive director and direct the executive director accordingly. This is our opportunity as board members to propose topics and items that we would like to have discussed or presented at future meetings. Are there any items that you would like to share at this time for future consideration? Hearing none, we'll move to the final item on our agenda today, which is citizen participation. And thank you all from Rose Garden who have been here with us so patiently today. I'll open it up here in just a second, but I just wanted to let you know that items raised under this portion of the agenda cannot be deliberated or acted upon by the Board of Commissioners until the notice provision of the open meeting law has been complied with. If you wish to speak on matters not listed on the posted agenda, please step to the podium rail and clearly state your name and address for the record. If any member wishes to extend the length of the presentation, we can do so by the chair or a board majority vote. All comments of the speaker should be relevant to actions and topics of conversation regarding the Board of Commissioners of the Southern Nevada Regional Housing Authority. And also, just as a reminder, that it's important that we refrain from disparaging remarks or personal attacks. And let's talk about items today that will propel our agency forward. I'd like to invite you to come forward at this time and state your name for the record. We'll get to you next, Ms. Turner, if that's okay. Come on forward, sir. Thank you.
My name is St. Clair Hayward of Rose Garden. And we have some issues which I brought a lot of the tenants to report that. But I got to speak for one tenant that's wheelchair bound. He has a problem at Rose Garden. We had a lot of problems here. Notice that it's been turned over to Nevada hands. And I'm gonna let the tenant speak on that. But this particular guy, wheelchair bound, he makes it from his wheelchair to his apartment, to the parking lot, where he leaves his wheelchair to get to his car. Nevada Hand says he can't leave his wheelchair on the sidewalk, which is no one on the sidewalk but him in the parking lot, which is enclosed. And they're telling him now he can't leave his wheelchair on without him being in it, which is totally disrespectful. The whole Nevada Hand situation is disrespectful. But that's only one issue. And I have to speak for him because, like I say, he's wheelchair bound. And that's so disrespectful. You know, they're taking care of things that don't matter. The things that matter, you're going to hear about. And I'm going to leave that alone right now.
Thank you, Mr. St. Clair. Hello.
Good afternoon. My name is Eula Wooten. It's spelled W-O-O-T-E-N, Miss Wooten. I sent some letters out with an incident that happened with me. I know I sent one to Mr. William, and I think it was a David or somebody. Anyway, I know they got it. I never heard from them back because I was locked out one weekend. And I goes to that Tuesday, because they come in on Tuesdays. And not a manager. So anyway, I go in and speak to the assistant manager so I can get in. Now, I'm out there where we are. We don't have no security, okay? But we sure need it. And anyway, I got in. In fact, I found his name. He let me in, thank God, because we go by last name there, and I know him by first. However, I goes in that Tuesday to talk to the assistant manager. And there was 3 of them in there. I'm a private person, number one. I don't do threesome. So I like to do that, but I'm just trying to get in my door. And you can call and get it with your phone, okay? So I'm talking to the assistant manager, and she goes, "You get out and go call and make an appointment." So I'm still talking to the assistant manager. And then she said, she just kept butting in. So now I just turn around and say, "Marion, can you please, I'm trying to talk to the assistant manager so I can get in." And I could see she got upset. So I asked him, I said, "Could you please help me? I'll step out." And that's what I did. And he did help. But that same day, the manager and her walked by me and two more gentlemen out there. And she spoke twice. And we all turned around and spoke, and this is what she did. And that's a call out to me. I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to you and you. And the manager was walking right with her. Never stopped her. Never said, apologize to me. That's very intimidating. I'm an older woman. She's younger than I am. She's very intimidating. I shouldn't have to be in my home afraid, okay? I pay rent there, on time, never been late. That's abuse. I spoke with the police about it to ask him. He said, sound like abuse to me. We all there at Rose Garden do not need that type of abuse, okay? And they very intimidated. They come around and they nitpick with things that I'm just fed up with it. And
Thank you, Ms. Wooten.
I don't want to be afraid at my own house.
Understood. Thank you for being here and being patient with us and sharing your concerns, Ms. Wooten. Let's get the microphone to Ms. Turner, and then after Ms. Turner, the next gentleman could come forward. And there was, actually, the lady right in front of you, sir, was, I believe, next. So you invite her to come forward, and then you, sir. Yeah. We've got plenty of time here, so.
Beatrice Turner, you know, I am appalled by what I'm hearing from that Nevada Hands, whatever. First of all, he never should have got any housing authorities properties, because his raggedy-ass son used to sit on the board. And then after they turned stuff over to him, then the son got off the board. You know, nothing should have been turned over him, because at that time, his stuff was in foreclosure. They was talking about taking all of his stuff. And then to have people to have to live like that, you can't say nothing. You got to be in your apartment. You can't come out and communicate with people. You know what? Nevada Hands shouldn't have never took over nothing. Nothing. And y'all need to call a meeting with Nevada Hands, and y'all need to have them residents there so they can speak out what they going through, because I do know they are going through a problem with Nevada Hands. Yes. And that need to come to an end, because I tell you what, Mr. Black, you gonna try to run for mayor in North Las Vegas. You gonna need these supporters. And if y'all don't call this, do something with this, it's gonna be a problem. It really is, and it is a problem anytime they can't come out of their apartments and they get talked to like they're children. They better be glad Beatrice don't live in their apartments, because, baby, the police will be there all the time for me busting one of them upside the head. Believe that. And they would be trying to evict me. And the last thing I got to say to Miss Diaz, I had an appointment with you, and I canceled that appointment. Because first of all, I didn't want to come down there and see the Wicked Witch of the West, the mayor. I didn't want to have to run into her. And I canceled that appointment. But you sit on this board with all the rest of them. And y'all need to look after the best interests of the residents. And these raggedy resident commissioners you got sitting here, they all need to be removed. Because where they at today? You got one don't hardly ever come. You got one that's supposed to be for North
Thank you, Ms. Turner.
That's for North Las Vegas. That don't eat. Y'all, they haven't even appointed nobody for North Las Vegas to sit on this board. So how y'all do business like this? But you know what? This is the last thing I got to say. The Bible says, "Thou shalt not oppress the poor, because he is the defender of the poor." And the way the world is going now, believe me, some of y'all sitting here is going to pay for the wrongdoings that y'all have did to the poor.
Ma'am, would you like to come forward? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Black, Wardine Patton, James
I didn't
Downtown.
I didn't recognize you. You look different.
I
A new
know.
hairstyle and a mask, and you got me tricked.
Okay, they passed out masks yesterday. What are the residents gonna do with one mask and one pair of gloves? Can anybody answer that for me? You
It'll
tell us to
last
stay
for a
in.
short while.
You tell us to stay in. I mean, probably we would go out and buy a few masks, but if you tell us to stay in, not stay safe distance, not socialize, then what the heck are you supposed to do? We appreciate the security we have, and we do have security there now, and they are doing an excellent job of putting the homeless people out that come into the building. But still, but where's our water, Chad? We never got the water. 6 cases of water for Jamestown, and I want to see them there next week.
Thanks, Wadeen. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Darrell Hawkins, Sartini Plaza, Unit 318. I'm calling, I've been here once before. I moved into Sartini in October. Came here a couple of months after that to talk to you about the water situation that I have. I stay on the 3rd floor, all the way in the back, and I get no hot water. I know there's a lot of things going on right now with the COVID and things like that, so I've been patient. I'm not saying that you have to address it right away, but I just want you to keep it on the list so we can handle the matter, it can get resolved. I run my water for about 15 to 20 minutes every morning to take a shower. Sometimes in the kitchen it doesn't even get hot, it's just lukewarm. It doesn't even, when I put dishwashing detergent in, it won't even set up. It's that cold. That's something, I can be patient, I can work with that. I appreciate in Sartini Plaza what you guys done with the security system. During the shutdown, we had an enormous problem with the homeless and with other people. And with the security that we have now, they tend to know who's the people that's causing havoc, and they've handled it in a good way. Another thing that I'd like to ask is if you would make it a priority to keep the security, because we're elderly people, and I was being like the security man, and I can get in trouble if I had to put my hands on somebody. You know, I could come to something like that, but there's a lot of elderly people, females, that are, you know, intimidated by somebody that's roaming the halls, laying in the halls, sleeping in the halls, and things like that. So I was getting several calls just to help them out. So just make it a priority. That's one of the things, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Hawkins. I appreciate your comments today. Sir, will you say your unit number one more time?
318.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us today.
I have to come back to the podium, because the guy that came up at the bill.
Where's Bill?
Bill, raise your hand up.
Hi, Bill. Are you okay, really quick, for this gentleman to make a quick comment for you? Oh, Bill's coming. Here he comes.
Come, Bill, okay.
All right. Thank you for your willingness to do that, though.
And this is on our security matter, which
Okay.
we don't have any at Rose Garden. All the money that we're paying for security, Rose Garden has none.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Bill.
Good afternoon. William McCracken is my name, and I'm at Rose Garden Apartments. And I've been with Housing Authority for the last 8-9 years, so this is nothing new to me. Now, one of our concerns is about security. And as you probably know, our property is right in the midst of a big crime wave. The neighborhood is lacking in any kind of coordination. There are police available, but they only respond to emergencies, what they call emergencies. Okay, so what we need is security in order to keep unauthorized people from coming into the property. When we first moved in 1.5 years ago, Nevada Hand said, "Oh, we have security." Oh, problem solved. Well, a week later, they fired the security guard. We have had no security since then. Okay, meaning there is nobody to watch to watch watch the house, so to speak. Okay, these people they come in at will, thinking that it's a public property and they can just walk in and take what they want. There was an issue happened back a month or two ago, somebody broke in and tried to steal some of the computers. And I believe they failed at that, but the point is, they got in. So that makes me a little bit uneasy, and there's, most of us are over the age of, 60, 65 years old, 70, 80, 90 years old. These people are not able to defend themselves. If they were, if these people, I call them campers, because they camp outside. And if they decide they want to come in, they just come right in. So it's got to change. This is putting us at risk. Okay, it's not just a preference. It's not like saying, oh, we have our own security. No, this is an issue that we need to rectify in order to protect our life and limb, so to speak.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. McCracken. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate your help. Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care.
Okay, so this, Phyllis Carpenter, this is a box of things that I got off the top of my trash. There is everything in here from car titles to visas to passports to birth certificates. And this is the stuff that the Housing Authority throws out. And there's everything in there, okay? Secondly, I still have not received a phone call back from Mr. Williams' office. I've called numerous times about the payment where they were supposed to reimburse me. Still, I submitted a bill on the 11th of last month, and here it is, the 16th. As well as that security contract. In the agendas, it said $330,000. How did it get up to $900,000? As well as what days are they supposed to be on those properties? What time are they supposed to be on those properties? It just isn't right. As well as my mold report. They came in and they did a mold test in my apartment. Now, there's 80% humidity in my bathroom. You've been to my apartment, you've seen it. They tested the bathroom closet and the bathroom closet only. And that's not where I suspect the mold is. It's behind the mirror where I can hear the pipe hitting every time I turn on the hot water. But they only checked that closet for whatever reason. And say that and they use their background. When they came in and did an air test, they only did 2 air tests. Now, everybody else that I've called, they do 3 air tests, 3 spore tests, and thermal imaging for $350. They paid $750 for 2 air tests, and they used the background level outside the apartment to go by the mold spores. And it's significantly less than the background is what it says in the report. But it also says in the report that Western Technologies does not take any responsibility if there's mold for the mold spores in the apartment. So that tells me that there's definitely mold. And then they came in to do the work. And it says in the report to remove the drywall. They didn't remove the drywall. You can still see the mold. They just basically came in and put drywall mud over some of it at the bottom, and the mold is still in the closet. But that's not the mold I'm concerned with. I'm concerned with the mold behind the mirror and in between the pantry. And when I moved in on my move-in video, I even said there's black, but that looks like black mold to me. But they didn't test that. They only tested the closet and the one corner of the bathroom. And that does no good to me. So I just want to know when that $600 check is, or $591, whatever it was, when I'm supposed to be getting it, so that in turn, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to pay the $350 to them to have the test done.
Thank you, Ms. Carpenter. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. My name is Pamela Sprinkle, and I'm from the what is it called? Rose Garden Apartments in apartment 309. It's true that we did all move in about 1.5 years ago when the building opened. It's a 4-story inside hotel-like apartment complex. So when you walk out of your door, you're actually in the hall with everybody else. We have been, many of us, been disrespected by our management, by our community director, whose name is Mayan, as Ms. B was talking about, and nothing's been done about that. When I first moved in and learned about everything that was going on and how we didn't have security over there, I and a couple of other people here initiated a contract to go door to door, meet our residents, and get some signatures so that we could get some security in here to keep the people from the outside from coming in. Our doors are open from the outside with a key fob, and that's the only way that you can get in from the outside. Well, it was thrown out, even though there's 120 apartments in this building. Everybody signed it. It was thrown out. About 6 months later, 3 more of us, including myself, got that out again, the petition, had everybody sign it. It was all signed, and they said, no, they can't afford to have security. So I just wanted to touch on that. We still don't have security, and people are still breaking in. And we are being told that if there's somebody at the front door, which is a sliding door to get in, a lot of us in wheelchairs, walkers and everything, if there are people out there, homeless people, we are not to come in that door. We're to go over to the side of the building and open a very heavy door, which a lot of people can't. It has hurt people before, slammed on their feet. We have a woman in the hospital right now that the door was so heavy in the garbage area, it slammed her and knocked her, and she's in the hospital with a broken hip. The disrespect from the management is, I'm just beyond that. I asked this young lady, Mayan, who is our community director, so she gets our games together. I said, why are you so disrespectful to me? And she said, me disrespectful to you? Why are you disrespectful to me? And she's about 30. I said, oh, it's going to be like that. Well, then I don't have anything to do with you. I actually had to make her be quiet one time because I was talking to the manager. She took over, and I told her in the middle of the meeting, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the manager. I was told that I had to leave, and she told everybody else that if they feel threatened verbally or physically, that we would not be allowed to share or be in property or anything. I have something very personal, though, that I would like to talk about.
Would the board be okay if she extended 1 minute? Can you cover it in 1 minute, Ms.
Yes,
Sprinkle?
I can.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
In January 19, I had a small skillet fire in my apartment. I was able to put it out before the water sprinkler came on. The water sprinkler came out in my kitchen, knocked me into my sink. I have the bill here telling I have been charged $3,443.95 for the repair of a fire damage, which there was no fire damage. It was smoke damage from the water, and the water went down to the 2nd floor and to the 3rd floor. I've been asking for an itemized bill to tell me what I'm paying. I've paid $315 for 5 months in a row on top of my rent. I don't make that much money. I did call HUD when it happened, and they said, we can't help you with this. So I was just wondering, what are my legal rights? Because I'm still owing $1,800. So out of a $750 check that I get every month, I'm paying $575 for rent and fire damage that wasn't there. So I'm not sure what to do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Sprinkle. Yes, ma'am. Welcome.
My name is Rosa Gonzalez. I don't speak good English, but I'm gonna try. So I lived in Rose Garden Apartments on 303, and I come just because when I moved in there in June last year, I start with I don't know who, but I made a lot of reports. I hear the report to police. He trained me that putting a note in my door, and I go to the manager, and I talk to the manager, and he's supposed to do a meeting with the police department and all the people lives there, and he never do nothing. Every time something's happening in the building, we going to the office, and he say, made the report, we made the report, he never say nothing, he do nothing, he just say, I check the cameras and I don't see nothing, maybe you lie. So, but it's up, everybody made reports and never made results. So the last time I had to move my car from the parking, my tires is down 3 times, and I made the report, and he said, no, that's all tires. When I moved my car in the front, because the last time he break my window in my back, in my car, and I had witness. I don't like. And these are people made report, and he say, I don't see nothing in the cameras. It's nothing happening with you. It's your imagination and things like that. And I say, no, it's not my imagination. And I park my car in the front and then start tripping because my car is in the front. I put it in the side where I live. But I never say nothing to other people, go parking in there and make parties in there in the front, and he never made nothing. And I think everybody in the building needs respect, and we need security. Because every time, May or call to the office, never call back, he never do nothing. And I tried to tag last few days to the office, there are my aunt, Edgar, another guy, talking, and I stood in the window, the door, and just turning and see me, and he say, call me. That's what he made. And I tell him, everybody call you and you never call back. You don't do nothing. So he said, well, we are busy. Why you are busy? Just yelling, smiling, laughing, and what about us? And they don't do nothing. And I live scared. I live scared in my apartment. I don't open to nobody. And before I moved there, I go outside talking to the neighbors and everything. Now I can do nothing because it's the same. It's the same. He still bother me. He bother other people, and they don't make nothing. We need more security. We need to respect to all the people live there, and we need attention or a new manager. Because the other guy, the manager helper, made more than the manager.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez.
Thank
And by
you.
the way, your English is excellent. I understood every word you said, so give yourself some
Really?
credit. Absolutely.
Oh,
It was great. Okay. Any other individuals?
Yeah, I need to speak for her. 'cause
Mr.
she's
St.
not
Clair is the spokesperson for everyone today.
Right,
What's her
I
name?
can't speak that well. I don't want nobody.
Are you okay with this gentleman saying a brief comment on your behalf? Are you shy? You don't need to be shy. But Mr. St. Clair, he's a great speaker, so.
Already,
Okay.
here, she has a problem since she moved in the building. At the time they assigned apartments, they had you come out and look at the apartment, you say, fine. She told me at first she didn't like the apartment because when you come out on the patio, it's a concrete wall, she can't see anything. And she's been asking them, since she's been there, to give her another apartment. And you see she's kind of shy and they just avoid her asking to change apartments, which we've had plenty open apartments, which they could have offered her instead of bringing somebody else in. And I think it's so unfair when you just treat a person that's been there, and she come from across the street. And when they gave us apartments, they tell you to go on the floor, just pick an apartment number. We never got a chance to see the apartments. I'm kind of dissatisfied myself because I like a bathtub. Some apartments got bathtubs, some got showers, but we didn't even have a choice. Just give them an apartment number and that was your apartment, which was unfair. But for her that can't speak, they told her a year ago, stay in your apartment 1 year, we let you get another apartment. They say they don't know nothing about it now. So that's a particular problem. And the lady that's paying for water damage, just $3,500, is totally ridiculous,
Thank you, Mr. St. Clair.
okay?
Appreciate that. Any other individuals like to speak during this public comment section?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Williams.
if you don't mind, particularly because I'd like to address the Rose Garden situation. First of all, I'd like to thank Sinclair for reaching out to me 3 weeks ago. I actually had the residents bused here. I actually sent a agency housing authority bus to bring them at Sinclair's request so they can talk about their concerns. I actually did view and inspect the property with my senior management, and we found the residents' concerns to be valid. and in addition to other things. And I've addressed that in communications with the CEO of Nevada Hand. She has responded back with a plan to address that, particularly garbage not being picked up, bed bugs not being addressed, not having the correct number of maintenance staff or the number of units there. Security, that was one of the things we had negotiated, or not negotiated because it is our building. We actually built a security office that is actually not being filled. And then we have another office right across from that security office that has monitors that's not being monitored. Unfortunately, even with me being present, I did experience the unjust, just not cool customer service. I'm just going to leave it like that, even with me being present. And then we followed up with 2 members of my executive support staff, and they didn't receive great customer service. And so what we demanded is now that we have 24 unfettered access to that building, 2 of my staff members, so that we can continue to go there and do spot inspections. But Nevada Hand is on notice, and we have a contract with them, and we have to give them time to correct those under the contract, and unless there's something continually egregious for us to bring to the board to remove them. As the property manager, and I understand that the residents have asked for the housing authority just to quickly take over property management, but unfortunately, contractually, we can't do that immediately. We have to go through a process. And I know that frustrates you, but we have a process that we have to go through. We have to give Nevada Hand the due process to correct these deficiencies, which are truly valid, and some other things that they just didn't have time to mention that I've observed that really disturbed me.
What's a contractual timeframe to remedy these issues?
Well, I'm giving them 120 days. I like the 120 days.
Let's not wait till the end of 100. Can we monitor it on a
No, we can
bi-monthly
monitor
or
on a-
monthly basis?
No, we can
to look
mon-
at progress?
Yeah,
Okay.
so, I mean, we got 2 fobs now, and we got unfettered access to all of the building on our own, because it is our building. And I had to reemphasize that to Nevada Hand. They may have all of the flags and, labels and all that, but it is our building. They're managing that building at our pleasure.
Thank you. Any other individuals like to speak during this citizen participation? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the citizen participation. Once again, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Can I say one thing? I cover some things because some of these people are shy to talk.
Really quick, Mr. Sinclair?
Yeah, I know.
We have a great participation from Rose Garden today. We're thankful that you're able to come. Mr. Williams, it sounds like he's very cognizant of what's going on, is doing proactive work to address it. So I'm thankful. I'm close to citizen participation. I'm grateful that you're here to advocate for you and your residents, and we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you all so much for being here today.